Hi guys, welcome back to the video. Today I'm just sharing a bar I created for one of my students. So in this bar, it covers, I think, nearly 90% of the common system design interview components and the consideration point. And I would recommend like all my students, I have already told them like if they can review this at least a few times every day, 1 week before the interview date, it will be really helpful to help them to get more familiar with all the considerations and all the common components they might need in the design session. And also it's like a starting point. If any of them terms or terminology, any technologies you are not familiar, I would recommend you go online or find any source to go deeper into that part. So you will be like more confident and also you are learning something new while you are preparing for your upcoming interview. So I think in most cases there is front end. It could be a web app, could be a mobile application, and on that there's some local caching strategies. You are saving the data for use later on, like a basket or something like that. That includes date compression, encryption, and also like cookies. You need to think about user experience, and also especially you are front-end engineer, you might think more on the user experience side about the framework, about the UI, about the UX, how to make sure like user can follow the flow easily, like to improve like both experience, like maybe conversion rate, click-through rate, etc. And CDNs, it's like locally caching services or edge computing. I combine them both. They can do the computing, can do the storage, of course, as you prefer, and as it to your design requirement or business use case. In general, it serves like static content or streaming service, mostly like videos, images, or any static data or even cached data. You need to monitor about the hit rate to fine-tune the eviction policy and also time to live. Worth noting is like the seeding cost is quite high, so you need to think carefully about like how and what and when you need for a seeding service. And common in the distributed system, there's this service registration and discovery. Normally, it's centralized service you can use for configuration and manage all the services in the cluster, in the mesh, etc., like naming, IP address, house information, like etcd, zookeeper could be, or console could be two of choice for this. API gateway, I don't think I need to spend more time on this. It's quite common, like a lot of information available online. But some just based on priority or popularity, what it does, like cached response, either it's high frequently requested or it's like really difficult to compute. And the service discovery checking normally goes to the service registry to find where they can forward the request to and what blacklist IP or account or etc. Especially if I'm checking on application level, there's a lot of information we can check here, so we don't need to waste the resource on the downstream. SSO termination, I think it's very expensive or just an overhead to do that. So maybe we can save some computing cost in the downstream. We can do it here. And from here, we can either encrypt through SSL or like if it's internal, well-managed network, you can just using HTTP instead of HTTPS from here. It manages authentication, authorization, session management, user info. It can do load balancing as well, throttling, tracing. And the load balancing, in some cases, it may not be included in the API gateway, especially want to for some really optimized, really extreme proficiency or efficiency on load balancing. It can be based on OSI layer 3 or 4, can be based on hardware, software, and also can be based on layer 7 if you want more information to do more customized traffic distribution. And also it's involved like a DNS registration record, etc. And for caching, it's different levels. of course, it's for low latency for high frequently accessed items or items that is expensive to calculate or compute. Again, same as on the CD side, but eviction policies time to live, least recently used or least frequently used. Stateless service is for horizontal scalability. Of course, you need distributed session management, or you can use, if it's simple, like you don't need like even session management, can tag or role-based um, authorization. You can apply those directly without checking the session. But in some cases, like of course, you need like more information like through session management. So normally like either distributed caching or high throughput database like DynamoDB, Redis would be good choice for user session management. Event streaming, like the real data processing analytics pipelines, especially useful for event-driven architecture, decoupling the responsibilities, make sure everything can run in parallel. Fault tolerance, data persisted for example, in Kafka. So that's by driven. A message queue, similar for async processing, reliable task execution. For extreme performance, you can scale up the consumer and the producer separately to manage the load depending on the use case. The workers is normally backend running process or service that's provide additional processing power for computing for different things. It can read from streaming event, reading from message queues, and take the actions from there. And on the storage, like SQL, NoSQL, object storage are most popular and common storage considerations. Pick the ones that are most suitable for you. Think about the consistency, think about the transactional requirements, think about any relational or complex queries you need. And also for blob storage, normally it's object storage is most efficient. And also it can be used for like a backup for lower cost and higher persistent. And some common services or common services we might need to consider, but notification that involves third party, and also you need tracking and you need for user experience, user preference, and also involved in the UI as well. And the search, you need to think about the index building, full text search, autocomplete, etc. You can consider in most cases, it'll be like a black box for all of the three. And recommendations, of course, you need to either personalized for each user or each user category through AI machine learning. They are doing data processing and then create a list of like recommendations. You can call the service and just pass it on to the end user. So in most cases, you can consider this as a black box. Maybe one to add, maybe in some cases there's a payment as well. Yeah, it's unique domain. You may not need to handle that, but you need to handle like some retry, make sure you do not charge user multiple times, and also you need to keep a local record for compliance reasons. And down here, just some general considerations about like scalability, availability, reliability, common approaches, what component, what mechanism you can use. For example, for like load balancing, DB replication, partitioning, sharding, auto scaling, containerize, we have throttling, circuit breaker, retries, auto healing, and there are overlapping areas for this. So the end goal is definitely to make sure the system is responsive, low latency, and with correct data. And then what is most important during the interview is definitely case by case, depending on the topic, but it's super important to get yourself familiar with all of these technologies or concept. That would be super helpful. So I would really recommend you come back to this every day before 1 week before your interview and get yourself familiar with anything like you either not heard of or is still or you need to refresh. All right, so I think next video it will be about like a P2P network, especially in a private environment. So I think that's all. Thanks for watching. Yeah, I'll leave it here. Maybe you can take a screenshot to save it. Okay. Thank you guys. See you next time.